Welcome to your channel Ray of 4 and thank you for being with us. This is going to be another video for our web hunting series. If you like the content, do let us know your views in comment box. Thank you. Okay, so today we're gonna cover one of the really known bug. People say this is a common, but I think it's not. It can lead to several issues actually, right? If it is not properly configured and implemented. Okay, this is clickjacking. When we talk about clickjacking, what exactly it's mean actually? It stands for UI redressing. It is not just clickjacking attack. You can call it as a user interface redressing. It's a web application attack where a hacker tricks user into clicking an invisible web page element, often by displaying the button or link on the top of another website or application that user trusts. The user may not realize they are clicking on the button or a link because it's appear as a part of trusted website or web application. There are multiple you can say that Chrome extension you will get that will show you the hidden pages on an application. You can use it, right? Sometimes a hacker take a use of it. How? We will be covering that, right? Okay, so if you look over here, like clickjacking exploit HTML frames or iframes we call it, to trick user into interacting with a hidden malicious layer over trusted web page. Attacker user transmit layer overlayers with their on JavaScript or UI element to make it appear as though users are performing action on the original website. While they believe they are clicking on the safe link or button, the attacker script execute, potentially completing their accepted action or avoid suspicion. Most often, we can lead to multiple attacks. Also, it can lead to account takeover and whatnot. Okay, the true purpose over here, the true purpose of clickjacking is to enable other attacks such as installing malwares, stealing credentials, or to make malicious things, right? Such as boosting click stats on the unrelated sites, boosting ad revenues on the site, gaining likes on Facebook, or increasing views on YouTube videos. Yeah, you heard right. Like you might have heard about it, multiple website and application who gives you likes, comment, and whatnot, right? Those are somehow they are related to clickjacking. And you know what? More often, when you are going to put your credential on any website, you are making a mistake. They are stealing your credential, and that is how your Instagram get hacked. Remember that. Nowadays, hacking Instagram or Facebook, it is not that easy. Mark Zuckerberg is itself a hacker. Do you think that it will compromise with the security? Until unless you are not making any mistakes, there is no way that a hacker can take over your account, right? Okay. So how to identify the clickjacking actually? What are the possible ways? We know that what a clickjacking is, but what exactly how we can identify it? Most often, when every application uses the security headers, we call it HTTP security headers, HTTP security response headers. So what you have to do, all you need to do is just go ahead and check if the security headers are implemented properly or not. Like most often X-frame options are responsible for preventing clickjacking. So if X-frame options are not implemented properly or configured properly, that can lead to clickjacking. Or you can also check if CSP headers, which stands for Content Security Policy, is implemented or not, right? Manually, this is a piece of code actually. This is nothing a HTML tag, a body tag. This is our code, right? This is our code where we are just putting like a website called http://dayofhope.com with 800 height, 600 iframe. And then we are closing the body tag and HTML tag. This is a very basic HTML code. If you are confused, go ahead and learn from W3 schools. It will definitely help you, right? Okay. So this is if this would be vulnerable, like if the application would be vulnerable for the HTML injection, with this manual approach, you will get there. You would be able to see their like content in a HTML file, right? We will be covering that practically as well. Stay tuned with us. Okay, so you guys might heard about multiple things, but like clickjacking is not just having one category. There are multiple ways, multiple approaches that one uses to perform clickjacking attack. And what are those? Yeah, the first one is normal clickjacking. Work mostly through the web application or web browser. The second one stands for cursor jacking. Sounds new to you, right? Cursor jacking misaligns the visible cursor from its actual position, deceiving user into unintended action. Hacker exploit this by bypass no script clear click security. though the flows in Adobe Flash and Firefox have been fixed. So mostly like Adobe product, if you're using, they can use cursor jacking to perform their click jacking attack. Now the second one is like jacking, which stands for scam targeting Facebook like. Feature scammers post like interesting content like videos, pictures, or offering deals like 20% off, like 50% off, 1% off, and whatnot, right? To trick user into clicking it. Most of all, like if you click on that, if you like it or subscribe it, right, or you open that on Facebook, eventually it could be that they may compromise your account too. So it is really important to know the authenticity of any post that you are going to engage with, right? Okay, the third one is cookie jacking, which stands for cookie jacking is also a kind of click jacking technique where attacker tricks user into performing an action like dragging an item to steal browser cookies. And with this, they can also perform account takeover as well. The fifth one is mouse jacking. Mouse jacking is a vulnerability in non-Bluetooth wireless keywords or mic that use USB dongles. Attackers can exploit this flow by sending crafted radio signals from up to 100 meters away, allowing them to control victim device. The attack bypasses encryption on keystrokes, enabling attacker to execute commands or type text as if the user were doing it, and all without physical proximity or detection. So they are not in touch with your device. They are not doing anything. Like they can send RF signals. If you guys know about, there's something called RF signals, right? So they can also do that. So there are multiple devices out there in the market that hacker can use that comes with the IoT as well, right? IoT, OT security. So they can also go for it and they can buy that tools and they can compromise your like a non-Bluetooth within like 100. It could be that if they're having like a device that can be exploited more than like 150 meters, it could be. That can be, but till now, what I am aware is like up to 200 meters, they can eventually exploit it if you are in that range, right? The third, like the sixth one is nested click jacking. When we talk about nested click jacking, what exactly it's mean? This stands for a flow in Xframe, which is again security headers that allow nested click jacking to occur. When Xframe option signals is set to same origin, the browser only examines the two innocent layers. It ignores the harmful layer in the middle, allowing the attackers to attack advantage over the flow and click jacking tell that effect to Google+. So if you're using Google+, that can lead to this actually. So we have not only just same origin, we have three policies in Xframe. We have deny as well. So it is always recommended to use all of them rather than one. At last, we have filejacking. Filejacking occurs when attackers exploit a web browser ability to access a user file and is capable of setting up affected device as a file server. So these are the types of clickjacking category. Like what are the possible ways and techniques that they use to perform clickjacking? Must remember that. It will help you. At last, what are the mitigations do we have for clickjacking threats or attack? We talk about it. Xframe options, which is a server side. Again, this is also server side. This is an HTTP response headers that can be used to instruct the browser whether the not a page can be displayed in the inner frame. These possible values for these headers are deny, same origin, and specific URL. We just talk about it. That there are three: deny, same origin, and specific URL. What does that deny means? It stands for the page cannot be displayed in a frame. They are strictly denying it, right? Same origin. The page can only be displayed in frame on the same as the page. Same origin, right? That can also prevent the clickjacking. Like if we are not into same domain, and even if they have not implemented deny, but they have implemented same origin, still that can like prevent clickjacking. But it is always recommended to implement all of them. Then at last, we have allow form from URL, which is same specific URL. The page can only be displayed in a frame on a specified URL, which is predefined, right? So this was the server side prevention. Now we have client side prevention as well, something called frame bursting. This involves adding a JavaScript code to a page that checks whether the page is being loaded inside a frame, and if so, it breaks out the frame to display the page in the top level window. This prevents the page being used in clickjacking attack. Client-side method can be effective in some cases, but are considered not to be best practice because this can be bypassed as well. So it is always recommended to implement Xframe and CSP. In CSP, we already know this is one of the content security policy that can also defend against clickjacking, but it is not fully supported by all the browser for sure. Over here in clickjacking, CSP, we have three options. The first one is the content security policy frame, none. You can set it as a none. Then you can set it as a self. Then you can set it as a example any specific URL. So when we talk about none, this allows like a page from being embedded in any frame, like frame or iframe or object or from any origin. They directly disregard this. They're not allowing it. If we have like a set the CSP frame ancestor to self, this will allow the page to only be embedded in a frame or iframe from the same origin, like we did over here in same origin. Or this is a specified or pre-defined URL where we want the iframe to be executed, right? So these are the possible mitigations for CSRF. Let's go ahead now and talk about it in detail. 1 second. Suppose there is a HTML code. We talk about it, right? So this is one of the HTML tag, which is just a normal tag. iframe options they are using one website over here, which is http://seedgeek.com, right? What we're gonna do, just save this website, right? Save this HTML like a text into HTML form. And what we're gonna do right now, let's open this file. Can you see? You can see this is a file. This is a normal file, normal HTML file on our system, right? This is not hosted globally even, right? So, but still, even after having this file on our system, we are able to see the website that it is running on. In the meantime, if I search over here AVC or anything, if it is getting executed and if it is throwing something, that is a vulnerability, right? You can see. And an attacker can take a use of it and can exploit this vulnerability, whatever we talk about it. So thank you for watching. If you like the videos, do subscribe and let us know your views in the comment box. Thank you.